What is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all, as promised, we are back with the part 3. This will be the final part to the Kenneka Jenkins and ZackTv story, right? Now, in this video, I want to go over ZackTv's death. That's what we're going to get into in this video. The reason why I wanted to make it a separate video, because it's like, you know, this is its own story. Once we get into the video, you may not actually believe that he died because of the Kenneka Jenkins case. You know, we're going to get into it. We're going to compare the stories, the theories on how and why he actually died, and have some really good clips from, you know, people who are from Chicago. One person even from, he might be from the neighborhood that ZackTv was from. I'm not exactly sure, but he knew Zack. So, you know, it's something to listen to because they give a very different story on how ZackTv actually died. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to read this article from the AP News where they describe how he died and the people that were actually responsible for his death. So it's a very, very interesting video, and for people who haven't heard this side of the story on how ZackTv actually died and why he died, like I said, you're gonna find this to be very, very interesting, right? So I'm not gonna do too much talking in this intro, y'all. I want to get straight into the video. So with that being said, y'all, we're gonna check out this first clip, then I'm gonna come back and read this really interesting article to y'all, right? Check this out.
Of course.
Wow.
Come get you some lunch.
Damn.
Of course.
Okay, so tell me this, brother. Are you in school right now?
Yeah, I'm in school. I ain't gonna let this street shit interfere my school.
13 years old out here. Tattoos, weed, liquor.
Man, shit, it's worse shit than this.
Yeah, what you think is worse than this, big dog?
Shit, never know. You know?
You ever heard of Yummy Sandifer, bro? From the Hundreds?
Yeah, I remember, bro.
Lil Yummy,
Yeah,
going around whacking, going crazy.
I'm crazy.
But I don't want that life for you, shorty. I ain't gonna lie. I get a nice amount to put rappers on. I don't want you out here. I don't want you to be a rapper. I want you to be better than me, bro. I want you to be better than Obama, better than everybody, because I know you got it. You still got your whole life ahead of you. You don't got no felonies, do you? Bro, your whole life ahead of you, bro. I swear to God.
A popular YouTube personality is gunned down while driving through Chicago's Printers Row neighborhood. He's identified as Zach Stoner, known on YouTube as ZackTV1. Around 1 in the morning, police say a gunman in another car pulled up alongside Stoner's vehicle near Clark and Polk Streets. Multiple shots were fired. Stone was hit at least once in the head, then lost control of his vehicle, crashing into a light pole. A witness, several stories up, posted this Twitter video moments after the crash. It appears to show a group of people at the scene getting into another vehicle, then driving off before police arrive.
All right, y'all. So here real quick, we're going to read this article before we get into the clips that I have that supports this article, right? Because I just want to jump straight into, you know, the facts of how he died before we play the clips, okay? It says the 2018 killing of ZackTv, a trailblazer in a perilous genre of gangland reporting he called Hood CNN, seemed destined to go unsolved, even though gunmen attacked him on a downtown Chicago street lined with surveillance cameras. Police never announced arrests in the shooting of Zachary Stoner, who drew a national YouTube following, filling a media niche with up-close stories about the lives and deaths of gang members and affiliated rappers from places other reporters were afraid to go. Police records obtained by the Associated Press reveal investigators believe they solved his homicide years ago when they arrested members of the Southside Chicago's Perry Avenue gang. Now, mind you, this article came out in 2022, so it would have been about 4 years later after ZackTv died. It says prosecutors in 2019 declined to prosecute, and police were forced to release the suspects. Police say the Cook County State Attorney's Office cited the possibility that the two sides in the shooting on May 30 of 2018 were mutual combatants, a disputed legal concept that's a throwback to duels between nobles or prearranged gunfights in the Wild West. The prosecutors passed on charges on those grounds raises questions about whether Chicago gangs can literally get away with murder when it's unclear who initiated a shooting and who returned fire in self-defense. The case and arrest reports obtained in an open records request offer previously unreported details about what may have precipitated Stoner's killing, after he left the crowded Clark Street Refuge bar. Relying on video, eyewitnesses, cell phone location data, and ballistics on a bullet removed from the 30-year-old's brain, police arrested 5 suspects aged 19 to 22 in 2018 and 2019 on probable cause of first-degree murder. Prosecutors also cited inconsistent witnesses as a reason to not prosecute. 2 of those suspects have since been killed, and we're going to assume through gang violence. Another, identified by a witness, told police, "I didn't pull the trigger." So 2 of the guys that were responsible out of the 5 for killing Zach have already been killed, and they have one that says he didn't pull the trigger. One Illinois court defined mutual combat as an agreement to fight or where sides in a sudden quarrel and in hot blood mutually fight upon equal terms. Some courts only allow defendants to argue mutual combat at a sentencing in bids for leniency. Police said Chicago prosecutors cited it last year in an initial decision not to prosecute suspects in a deadly West Side shootout between alleged Four Corner hustler factions. This was another situation. Stoner's ZackTv 1 channel was profitable, but the work was dangerous. The otherwise upbeat Stoner had predicted that a gang, piqued by his reporting, may try to kill him. So he always had a gun within reach. He explained in one video, "You just gotta be prepared." The documents revealed 2 of Stoner's friends were passengers in his SUV when gunmen in a minivan attacked. One friend drew a gun and returned fire through the windshield. Records don't allege anyone in his SUV fired first. The partially redacted records don't directly state a motive in the shooting. Now, mind you, ZackTv had a gun as well, but he was never able to fire off a shot, and it was found under his seat next to his feet when the first police officer got on scene and checked his pulse. Says Stoner didn't belong to a gang, but was raised in Goontown gang territory. Young black men are often wrongly assumed by gangs and police to be in their gang on their block, so other gangs may have viewed Stoner as a Goontown associate. Goontown and Perry Avenue, which was the gang, responsible for ZackTv's killing, both located on the south side, are longtime foes. For years, they've posted rap videos on social media dissing each other, right? So that is what we're going to get into with the next 2 clips that I have that will give us a little bit more information on why ZackTv died. Police say Perry Avenue, like Goontown, is a Gangsta Disciples faction, but the joyous atmosphere soared as 2 factions engaged in a rap battle, delivering derogatory lyrics about each other. One witness says Stoner appeared to be nervous as he walked out, imploring his friends to leave too. And we have that exact story in one of the clips that I'm going to show y'all. A guy by the name of AMG Bell, which is another rapper from Chicago, he talks about exactly what happened in the bar that night and why Zach was trying to get his friends out of the bar so they could hurry up and get in the car because people was there, basically trying to get out on him. But we're going to get into that clip as well here in a second. While the records black out Stoner's passengers' names, his friend, rapper Thomas T. Streets Davis, said on social media that he was one of them. And the same video shows him at the bar near Stoner. He and the other passenger have also since been killed. So one of ZackTv's, basically both of ZackTv close friends, one name was AMG Fresh, and it was this guy, T Streets. They were both in the car with ZackTv that night. They both have been killed since this incident happened, and T Streets just happened to be killed hours before ZackTv's funeral. 2 of the guys responsible for the death are dead, and ZackTv's 2 friends that were with him that night are dead. Now we'll go into a little bit of the details about how it all happened. At 1:29 a.m., 2 blocks from the bar, the minivan bore down on Stoner, guns out his window. Bullets riddled his SUV. One ripped through his shoulder, one struck behind his ear, lodging in his brain. When he crashed into a street lamp, his friends, one with grazed wounds, fled, so they left him there by himself. They later said they feared their opponents would basically spin back and shoot the car up again. Police arrived at 1:35 a.m. to find Stoner alone, slumped in his seat. One officer checked his pulse, and he was still alive. An officer also found Stoner's .40 caliber pistol at his feet. It was loaded, but he never got a shot off. A doctor pronounced him dead at 4:20 a.m., which is kind of weird. His last name was Stoner and he died at 4:20 a.m. It's a little weird. But hours before Stoner's June 9th, 2018 funeral, a gunman killed Davis, who was one of the guys in the car with ZackTv, who was T Streets, on a South Side sidewalk. An autopsy noted a word tattooed across his back. It read, ZackTv. The New York-based Committee to Protect Journalists expressed concern Stoner was killed for his journalism, which was not the case, and you'll find that out. That others were with him raises the possibility that he wasn't the intended target. Police consider Stoner's case cleared. They clear under 30% of homicides in a year they occur. Cases are cleared when police deem them solved, though this doesn't necessarily equate to formal charges or prosecutions, y'all. So that is the article that, really explains the facts of that. His killers were arrested. Basically what it's all about in Chicago. They just let them kill each other because they know that most of the killers that, were responsible, they're going to end up dead in a couple years anyway. And that's where, they basically kept that mutual combatant law as something, that could determine cases in Chicago. And for this case, it doesn't really make sense because they know what happened at the bar, or at least to a degree. Nothing really happened, though. No one fought. It was just a couple of words. People pulled up. They knew what car Zack and his two friends got in, and they basically pulled up and shot. There was no mutual combatant, anything. So basically they're trying to say they don't know who started it is, why they just didn't charge his killers. And 3 of those guys are not, in jail for his death. They may be in jail for other reasons, but not for killing ZackTv. All right, y'all. So we'll talk more about it because I got these clips that I want to show y'all that explains this a little bit more. So with that being said, y'all, check this out.
Man, 130 visual, stand the fuck up. AVE, AMG, state boy shit, nigga. BLD. A lot of motherfuckers know who I am, don't BD, man. Go follow me on Twitter, pocket full of that Instagram, shit, Facebook. BD, link it to my videos, man, on BD, BLD, everything on phone. Y'all know what the fuck it is.
Hey, kid,
my nigga Rome too, man. Free Rome, man. That's my
Rome,
right there, man.
People always going through personal issues, I really don't know. I can't really speak on everything Fresh was going through, but you know what I'm saying? I just can tell you that ZackTv shit was weighing heavy on him. It was weighing heavy on folks, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was trying to make folks look like something that he wasn't.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that ZackTv was really at the event, really for T Streets and AMG Fresh. You know what I'm saying? That's why them was the only 2 artists he recorded that night. He didn't care about who else was there. He was trying to build with them. He was so focused on the hundreds and the artists in the hundreds that he didn't even give a fuck about a lot of artists. Like when it come to pushing their music, he was really they was a team. AMG Fresh, ZackTv, and T Streets. Okay. It was some team shit. Okay. T Streets and Fresh lived right across the street from each other. Okay. On the same block, right across the street from each other. A lot of people didn't know that. Okay. So they was really building their relationship. You know what I'm saying? Right. On the back end, they was doing their thing, but ZackTv was in the midst of that. Like, my 2 ZackTVs I shot, Zack ain't charged me for it. Right. I knew Zack since I was like 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? I've been fucking with Goontown since around that age too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Rome, his first daughter is my big cousin. Okay. His baby and his little brother, his first 2 kids is by my other little cousin. Like, Rome and they my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been fucking with Goontown for over 15 years now. I've been knowing them, been knowing Zack before all this shit. Like, so that really he had a relationship with us just off the strength of me. You know what I'm saying? Right. And him and Fresh had their own shit going on, and he went down there to really, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Help folks them, you know what I'm saying, to promote what they had going on, and he overheard motherfuckers saying what they was gonna do to him. And he was stopping that shit. But a lot of motherfuckers don't know this. He stopped motherfuckers from getting on the stage and fucking up Fresh performance. A lot of motherfuckers don't know that either.
We talking about Zach right now?
ZackTV.
Yeah.
He heard motherfuckers saying what they was about to do to Fresh and who out the Bam in the third, and he told them like, nah, we ain't here for that. You know what I'm saying? They was about to get on the stage and Zach stopped them like, please don't do this shit. People don't know this though. Zach left a little early before the show ended so he can be outside on the front waiting for Fresh. When Fresh came out, he was telling Fresh get his ass in the car, but it was Fresh girl's birthday. He drunk as fuck. He, you know what I'm saying, T. Him and his girl, the only one went together. You know what I'm saying? Fresh ain't had nobody with him, just him and his girl. And Zach was telling him to get in the car, showed him his pipe and everything. Like, nah, get your ass in the car. Niggas own that with you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Zach had a pipe on him?
Went. Yeah, Zach had a pipe on him. Zach had a pipe on him, gang. He showed Fresh his pipe and told Fresh, get your ass in the car, because Fresh thought it was a game. And motherfuckers supposedly seen Fresh getting up in that car. You know what I'm saying? And that's what made them get on that car. But on the recording, the only thing you see is Fresh and them getting they shits out the car, you know what I'm saying, and getting back up in his shit, you know what I'm saying? That's what motherfuckers see on the recording, so that looked fishy. It was never no shooting on the recording that, you know what I'm saying, that the world seen.
All right, y'all. So after listening to the first part of that clip, when you hear that version of the story, most of y'all will automatically think Zach got set up by his homies. Now, that rumor being spread across the internet at the time is more than likely what got this guy on the bottom of the screen, T Streets, killed. Because you heard him say there was no footage of the shooting. That never got to the internet. No one ever recorded that. They recorded the aftermath of AMG Fresh and T Streets getting their stuff out of Zach's car, running to the car that AMG Fresh girlfriend was in, and then they pulled off and left Zach there, shot up. Anyone would think immediately that looks terrible. Looks like you just set your friend up to get killed. So the guy T Streets was in fear for his life for the rest of his days after that. Mind you, both of these guys are dead now, Fresh and T Streets. T Streets was in fear for his life every single day because the internet made it seem like he set up Zach. He even went as far as to go inside of a police station to go live. To basically, it was almost like a cry for help. Because he was scared for his life. And he knew that he was going to get killed because people thought he set up Zach.
Look up for me. This young man is a witness something. I just got permission to come upstairs to area time. I'm gonna have two officers walk in and show you where he. That's fine.
Okay.
Everybody's on the same page. What's that fighting on?
I think it's this side. Oh, you know what? It might be that side.
And so when you think about that part of the story, it even confirms back to the article that we just read. That's why I wanted to read y'all the facts from the article first, because the guy AMG Bell that's talking in a clip in that interview with DJU, he confirms it. Remember in the article it says Zach walked out of the refuge bar like nervous or whatever. That's exactly what he did. He walked out first, and then he was making sure AMG Fresh got out of there. Had to show him his own gun to say, hey, yo, come on, stop playing. We need to go. Basically trying to save his life because it was people trying to, you know, like he said, get down on him. This was all over the internet when ZackTv died. Because mind you, the guy T Streets is the one that died on ZackTv's funeral. The same day. He died hours before it happened. And if I'm not mistaken, they got AMG Fresh sitting in a car. I can't remember exactly, but I think that they all damn near died the same way. You know, like people that died surrounding this case. I think even Kanika Jenkins' uncle was killed sitting in a car. We'll go ahead and listen to the rest of this clip. I just wanted to come in and just kind of explain it real quick because I know what it sounds like. We'll listen to the rest of it, and then we'll come back and wrap this video up. Check this out.
The motherfuckers will never know the truth because motherfuckers weren't looking for the truth, but you know what I'm saying? There's shit coming out to this day, but.
So it sounded like Fresh had something going on and Zach suffered the consequences of what he had going on.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't that. Fresh ain't never have shit going on.
You said it was people that was approaches Fresh on stage and Zach was stopping it.
This what I forgot to say. They said that's dude that be fucking with the BDs. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know what BDs they was talking about, you know what I'm saying? But that's what they said too. Zach had a chance to let Fresh know all this. Him and T Streets, he had the chance. They should have left. When Zach took them to the car, Zach chose to tell them what was going on then, instead of getting to the hundreds and let them know, or called them. He got to the car, they made it to Fresh car and parked right in front of it. You know what I'm saying? And Zach chose to let them sit in. Fresh girl was in the front seat. T Streets and Fresh was in the back seat. And she hopped out the car when they pulled up and got in their car and started it. And Zach chose to tell them the little shit that he was telling them right then and there instead of leaving. ZackTv died saving Fresh, bro.
Okay.
When it all boils down.
Right.
Didn't nobody make Zach do nothing. Everybody was, Fresh didn't even know nothing was going on. Because Zach didn't allow it. You see what I'm saying? But Zach had a chance to let them know the shit that I'm telling you now. On everything.
Say ZackTv died saving
Fresh. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Fresh
deep.
made a rap about it. You know what I'm saying? He even said it. You know what I'm saying?
Now, he said something real at the beginning of that last clip. He said nobody was really looking for the truth. They were just going with what the internet already, had decided happened. Meaning that, they were thinking he got set up by his own friends. Now, to end this video off, this is where we would circle back around and, you'd have to decide for yourself. Do y'all really think ZackTv was set up and, this some kind of big setup and murdered because of the Kanika Jenkins case? Or do you believe ZackTv just happened to get caught up in some shit he had nothing to do with? He said, they was yapping in the club. He said that's the dude that messed with the BDs. They never confirmed what dude they were talking about. Could have been talking about Zach interviewing all these BDs, crossing sides, whatever. Or they could have been talking about his friend AMG Fresh, that was more than likely the case because he said Zach died saving AMG Fresh. And when they saw the car AMG Fresh got into, they shot that car up. But Zach ended up being the only one to die. So it all sounds fishy. Even the official story of how he died. But then again, that's just that Chicago shit. There's thousands of stories of people who died just like that in Chicago. And there is a very good chance that Zach did not die because of the Kanika Jenkins case. But I'm me being the type of person I am, and if anything about Chicago and all that shit, that gang shit, that shit real. You know what I'm saying? That there's a very good chance that he did not die because of the Kanika Jenkins case. And, they said that Perry Avenue block got shot up multiple times after Zach died. And the police actually arrested the guys. We put them on the screen. I put them back on the screen right here. Those are the 5 faces that were in the van that shot up ZackTv's car. So then you'd have to think, were they able to stage 5, regular ass gang members to kill Zach because of the Kenneka Jenkins case? Were they that worried that they somehow set up, for 5 gang members that just happened to be, the gang that beef with Zach neighborhood? Did they actually set that up? Did they want to go that far to make sure Zach was dead? Or another theory, he didn't even get killed by those guys. Remember, it was never on camera. The shooting was never on camera. Just the aftermath. Not even the car pulling off, nothing. So you really have to, this is another one of those things where you have to believe what you want to believe. Because even if you believe he died from the Kenneka Jenkins case, guess what? It doesn't change anything. He's already dead. How and why and the reason that he died, it doesn't even matter. The Kenneka Jenkins case is done, it's solved, it's over, according to the official story. ZackTV's case is done, solved, and it's over. The supposed guys that shot him, remember, mutual combatants. They're not in jail for his death. 2 of them are dead, and I think 3 of them are locked up on drug charges now, currently. And his other 2 friends, they died from this situation. So that lets you know they were going to get AMG Fresh regardless. That was their intended target. Zach happened to get killed. And T Streets, he died behind it. Probably, people thinking that T Streets died because they thought he set up Zach. More than likely. Unless there's other information out there that doesn't prove that, then I'm not aware of it. But this is why I wanted to do this as a separate video, because this is, it's his own story in itself. Because like I said, there's a very good chance, y'all, that he did not die because of the Kenneka Jenkins case. I know a lot of y'all won't believe that. You may believe he died completely because of that case. But honestly, it's up in the air, because that stuff is real life in Chicago. Like he said, the dudes were there at the club, at the bar. They saw what car they got into. Zach chose to sit around and explain the story of what was going on. He sat around too long when he could have just left. Remember, Zach left the club before anybody. And he waited for his 2 friends. Had they just left and got up out of there, none of this stuff would have happened. They would have never killed ZackTv that night. And that's pretty much the end of that story. And one thing I will say that's probably, that's very odd and raises red flags. Zach didn't die until he started, investigating the Kenneka Jenkins case. And it leaves a question out there, if he never went down that path, would he still be alive today? So that's definitely a little weird. He'd been in so many hoods in Chicago across different sets. He'd been all across Chicago. Nobody had problems with him in the worst hoods you could think of, on the south side of Chicago, wherever he was at. He never had a problem, never got shot, nothing. And 8 months after he started investigating the Kenneka Jenkins case, he ends up dead. So is there something deeper and a little bit more scary behind his death? I guess that's left up to what you want to believe. Did his laptop and all that stuff get stolen? Did they break into his house right before he died? Is there any real proof of that? No, there isn't. But is there a chance that that actually happened? Probably is. So it's one mystery, y'all, that we may never, ever know the truth to. And that's, it's a sad situation. It's deep. It's very deep. His death is very deep, as well as the whole Kenneka Jenkins case. For how I wanted to cover the whole situation, I feel, pretty satisfied. We all, became little investigators off of this case anyway, so this is kind of where I wanted to cap off the story on my little 3-part series of, covering the Kenneka Jenkins case and ZackTv. So with that being said, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please let me know what y'all think about this in the comments, his death in particular. And yeah, man, with that being said, it's Black Balloon, and I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm out.